Alright, and these are expressions where we're going to define one object or quantity in terms of another object or another quantity. So instead of explaining it, let's just get to it. If the length is 4 feet more than the width, express the length and the width using one variable. So we're only going to have one letter. And if you look, we have length and we have width, these two here. So one of these will be x, and one of them is going to be an expression. Well, if you read the problem, it's going to tell you which one you're going to assign, which is the best choice. If the length, right, here's the length, is equals 4, more than means plus width. And we say w. Right there, we just defined the variable. If you introduce a letter, it has to have some sort of meaning, and in this case, it was the width. So the width is w. And then now you can go back and look at the translation, and it says the length is 4 plus w. So we can say that one is 4 plus w. And that's what we're going to be doing in every single expression, in every single problem on here. One of these problems is going to get some expression that involves the letter that we're introducing. So let's look at number 2. It says, this one's a little more difficult, but there are 4 times as many apples as pears in a bowl. Express the number of apples and pears using one variable. So what we have is a number of apples and number of pears. And we want to think, well, we're going to have 4 times one of them. That's what it means. Well, does that mean, if you read it, 4 times as many apples as pears in a bowl, does that mean we have more apples or pears? More apples. How many more? Well, we have 4 times as many as the pears. And that's what we get. 4p and p. So if we had 5 pears, we'd have 4 times as many apples as pears. So if we had 5 pears, we'd have 20 apples. And that's all you're doing on each of these. One of them is going to be a letter. The other one's going to be an expression based on that letter. So let me get you started on the next one. I've got a bunch of problems for you to try, and then we'll go back over all of them together. But I want you to try them first. So, starting the first one, it says the base of a triangle is 4 feet less than the height. Express the height and the base using one variable. So we're going to call one of these the height, and the other one is going to be the base. Now you have to decide which of these will get the variable and which of these will get the expression. So I want you to try it. Hit pause and try it. Once you finish number 3, unpause it and the answer will appear. Alright, and then there's the answer. So it says that the base of the triangle, so we're giving the base the expression, is 4 less than the height, which means the base of the triangle has to be h minus 4. And since we said the height is h, we have to say the height is h. We're giving that h a definition. Alright, here's our next one. Let's see if you can do it all by yourself. So again, we're going to find how many different objects do we have in here. You're going to define one of them as a variable, and the other one, or others, as some expression based on that variable. But I only want to see one h, or one s, or whatever letter you choose to use on this one. So hit pause, give it a shot. Alright, and here's sort of the answer. I did this one mistakenly on purpose, or incorrectly on purpose. Can you figure out why? It says the slower cyclist. All that's doing is describing the person. I could draw a picture of a slower cyclist. It's not what we're looking for. It says express the speed. So this is the slower cyclist's speed, and this is the faster cyclist's speed. We really want to describe these correctly. When you're talking about height and base, they already include, I mean, technically we're supposed to put the length of the height and the length of the base, but we can always say height, base, length, and width, because that's what we're basically dealing with. When you're talking about height, we're talking about the actual height of an object, how tall it is. So you don't have to put anything other than height. But when you're talking about a person, they have speed, they have other attributes, so you need to actually describe them correctly. But faster cyclist would be 6 plus x, and slower cyclist is x. Alright. It'll, trust me, I know this seems very picky, but when you start doing word problems, this makes a huge difference. Alright, here's another one. Give it a shot. Hit pause. And there's the answer. So you should have number of moons of Saturn, 7 plus j, number of moons of Jupiter, j. Again, if you put Jupiter equals j and Saturn equals 7 plus j, it's half correct. It's not a good description. It's just good placement of variables. I'd rather see number of moons, number of moons. All right, let's try another. Sale price of a suit. Hit pause and try it. And there's the answer. Sale price is 3/4 of the original price, so 3/4 times x, and that means our x is the original price. I didn't use O because it looks like a 0. You don't want to pick letters that look like numbers. Alright, hit pause, try the next one. Alright, if you struggle with this one, that's great. It's a very, very tricky one. That's why it's the last one. If you got it right, you're amazing. It's an absolute amazement because this is a difficult one. But basically, anytime you're given a total number of coins, one of them is going to be x, and it didn't matter which one you assigned x. It could have been number of dimes or the number of nickels. But the other quantity, the other object, had to be 12 minus x because that's what's left. Think about it. Let's pick a different color here. We'll do red. Let's just say that the number of dimes. We had 7 dimes. How many nickels are there? Well, there's 12. Take away 7. It's always going to be that 12. So if you had 5 dimes, the number of nickels would be 12 minus 5. So that's why we're putting 12 minus x. Whatever we assign for the number of dimes, then the number of nickels will be whatever's left, which is 12 minus that number. All right, thank you.